A site with a storied history in central Maine is about to enter a new chapter, and next week residents will help decide how it starts. On Monday, voters will be asked to authorize the Norridgewock Select Board to accept the former New Balance factory on Depot Street. The company ceased operations at the 170,000 square foot property early last year, moving production and jobs to Skowhegan, resulting in a loss of foot traffic and tax revenue for the town. The company has been maintaining the building since the closure. The town manager says businesses and organizations have already shown interest, including Maine Grains, and the site could ultimately house multiple operations, including some municipal. He says having the town involved could help those groups access funding opportunities they couldn't qualify for on their own.
One of the biggest reasons why the private sector wants the town of Norridgewock at the table is because we can become a source of funding, not from our tax base, but we are a magnet for certain sources of revenue, grant funding, and whatnot that can come into a nonprofit or governmental entity, whereas the for-profit entities won't be able to qualify for some of those funding mechanisms.
State Senator Bradley Farron, a Norridgewock native, has offered to serve as the town's consultant on the project for $1. On Wednesday, the select board voted to accept his services.